when I was young. And then I worked with children with autism. And that was an institution. In that time, it was 1974. All children who were special, we took in institutions. In the forest, locked away. So the autistic children and children for child psychiatry were there. I worked there. And I was young and naive. So I thought, when I could work very well with these autistic children, that's it. But my whole life changed when on a Sunday afternoon, a mama came to visit her little autistic son. And then she started to cry when she saw me in contact with him. Then she said, Maria, it's my son. I'm his mama. When you know how to come in contact with him, why don't you teach me? Instead of that you go to do it. Huh? And then she said a beautiful sentence. I've love enough, energy enough, time enough. The only thing I'm missing is information how to do it. And that's why the Marte Meo programma is an how-to-do program. In 1990, I did their presentation at the University Child Development. And afterwards I said, thank you, Maria, it was very good, it was so good to hear you are very talented, very practical talent, very good therapist, well, forever. But we think the information is too simple for our university level. And okay, that can be, because I also did not develop for the university level, but it was first time in Norway, so it's always good to have a start. And it's exactly always the point that in the beginning, it's people always think, nah, that's too simple. What she says, everybody knows. Why should she make a program for that? I can't imagine that so many countries want to have such a program for nothing, because it's so simple, everybody knows. But the only point is to discover that things are so simple in stimulating in constructive interaction and in supportive communication. Nobody thinks about it. Everybody go for the detail and make that big, but it's echt very simple, and my biggest task all over the world is helping people to keep it simple. And then nowadays, when the brain researcher, the Professor Dr. Gerald Hüther is a famous brain researcher, he fell in love with Marte Meo because of the nothing. And he thought it can't be true, it's fantastic. Maria has discovered in praxis, exactly the same what we have discovered the last 30 years with brain research. And she had discovered just from normal daily life. And then when I did a presentation with him, we did a dialogue presentation. He said something about brain research, and I showed how I discovered that in practice. And I said something, and he said something, and so on. And then I showed there a drawing from Picasso. Picasso has drawn once a bird, and then he said, I studied 20 years on birds. I did draw them in detail, echt 20 years long, in detail, until I knew which 3 lines makes a bird. I thought, I see everywhere very interesting things, but how could I keep them and make a kind of system of it, and how could I transfer it to other people? And then we started to be interested in filming not only the autistic children, but I would like to film to realize they did not develop social and emotional skills. But at the other hand, I was interested, how do you normally develop that? And what is in the interaction with such a baby different? So I started in 1980 to be with a lot of parents with young children, 3 mornings a week. And here a whole year, all the newborn babies in Roermond, that's here a little city. And there I saw every 3 mornings, every week, I saw all the newborn babies. And then there was a little difference in the communication. I tried to find out what is it. I talked with the parents and they told me a lot of things. I studied on the children. I saw so many different personalities. And there you saw already, oei, there is something special with this baby. Oh. And then I sometimes followed these families. Following initiative is really the basic point of going into the world from somebody else. You're not occupied what you want, but you just say it's okay what you do. So another person makes an initiative on sound level or on action level, and you just follow that. So the initiative is always from inside, there is still the life. I had in Aken a woman and they said, no, but Maria, she doesn't have initiatives. Oh, that I would like to see. Bring me a film. 5 minutes film they always bring. They also could bring 2 minutes because you see everything in, when you are trained to look in a way, you see everything in 30 seconds. But then they get shocked, so I always say 5 minutes. And then they had, and then I saw a few small initiatives on movement and sound. I asked them to go to repeat it, just repeating it. They did that. And they came back and they say, oh, she's much more awake and she looks much more. And then I asked them, when she looks at something, she turns, she say, yeah, you see it, yeah, I go to get the towel. Look, the towel, a beautiful pink one, and make a little bit live again. They did it, and the last film, they had 6 training sessions. The last film of that lady is that she's smiling, walking again, and it was a lady who didn't want to come out of bed anymore. In Holland, a very rich family, where the father was a big businessman, they said, we are not satisfied with the quality of care he gets. And my sister studies with you in Switzerland, and she said, you should ask Maria if she could not help us. And then I filmed the daughter of that father, and she went 3 mornings a week to him. Who does do that? But she was still from the generation in Holland where the husband works and you yourself are free and or take care for the family. And her children were already out of the home and her papa in the elderly home. And then the first film was so impressive for me when I made that she thought that the father was still the father she had in her head. And that he, like always, was so dominant and did not want to do what she said. So she said to her papa, put on your shirt. And the shirt went on. And she thought, okay, I go to clean the shower room. And then he goes on. And I filmed papa. And when papa, she said, here, you can do it. And papa did. And papa, the whole time that she was in the shower, the papa was standing like that with the shirt from how does that go further? I lost totally the model of putting on my shirt. But she came back and she said, you didn't do it again. So she just thought he does not want to do it. Instead of that she realized. So I told her, oh look. And I showed her the clips and she said, wow, how lost he is. That he sees, oh my God, I don't know how further. You come and look in his face. He knows already that maybe you are angry. But he can also not express, I don't know anymore how shirts are closed. I said he needs, we can study now in such a moment to see that he lost certain models. So instead of telling him do it, you should do detailed guidance. You should tell him step by step, yes, this button, ja precies, and then that button, fantastisch, and that, oh look, nog one, and that, more fantastisch. And he could get a competent feeling and think, yeah, we together can do things very well. Oh, fantastic. Then she discovered in her face that she was so many times disappointed in her papa because she expected somebody else there. It should be her papa. And of course he needed some care, but you should not be so different. So in that first part of that program for relatives, I called it nooit kennenlernen, learning to know him again or her again. And that I did for children from parents with dementia or with couples. So the one developed dementia and the other not. And nowadays we call it the circle of love. Because I think, like we did not use in the institution with the autistic children, we put only professionals around such a child. We excluded the circle of love. We excluded the parents by not giving them information. Hey, yeah, when you should have a normal child, you could bring him up. But now you have a child who is autistic, and you should need extra information how to come to a supportive dialogue, developmental dialogue. The same happens to when somebody gets a brain attack or gets very sick or develop dementia. All these people around the circle of love should be helped, because there was a lot of energy, there was a lot of love, and mostly also time, and that could be turned into satisfaction. And not only for the one who is the patient, but also for the ones who love him. And then they get so proud that they build a new relationship, and that's also successful, because life is not staying the same. We don't stay up to 100 totally healthy. Especially nowadays, I think we have really something to do with the elderly care.